What's going on, everybody? It's EricRayweather back here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over the brand new Madden 20 game mode, Superstar KO. This video is presented by the EA Game Changers program.
What's up, y'all? This is DJ Trey Mo, and welcome to Superstar KO.
So what is Superstar KO, the brand new Madden 20 game mode? I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about it right now. It's this crazy new mode they added to the game, unlike anything else you've ever seen. It combines the Superstar X Factor players with legends and also celebrities in a very quick pick up and play style game that's meant to last anywhere from 30 seconds to maybe about 10 minutes long. And there's a lot of special rules that go along with this. You play in a custom stadium as well, where the crowd is really hype and on your back. They have a DJ that kind of commentates the game for you. It's almost like an NFL street style type of game, but in an NFL type stadium. Really cool stuff, and EA has said that they're going to evolve this thing throughout the year, change the rules, change the teams, add new players, and do a lot of crazy stuff with it. But for right now, you can pick up and play the game, and this is what you're going to experience. So first of all, you pick a base team, and each team has a theme. So you have a team called Dot City that is a heavy passing team, and their coach is Odell Beckham. So they're going to have really good passing plays in their playbook, but it's limited. You don't have a full playbook. You might have 20 passing plays, and you have one running play, which is a halfback draw, right? So if you want to run the ball, you probably shouldn't pick this team, but if you want to pass the ball, you definitely want to pick this team. Now, the roster is also going to fit the style of the team. So this team is going to be better for passing in terms of they're going to have a better wide receiving core. Their offensive line is going to be good pass blockers, but probably not very good at run blocking. Their running back's not going to be very good, but they're going to have a pretty good quarterback. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they're going to be built to stop the pass better than stop the run. If you pick a run-heavy team, it's going to be the exact opposite. You might have one or two passing plays that are very basic, generic passing plays, and everything else is a run play. So if you get in a situation where you have to pass, you might be in trouble with that team. And there's a ton of different teams with different themes. Some teams are defensive focused, some teams are under center focused, some teams are blitz heavy, but the rest of their plays on defense and then their offensive plays aren't anything special. Very, very interesting stuff. You've got the team like the Florida Keys that has DJ Khaled as their head coach. You've got teams that have Emmitt Smith as their head coach. So it gets pretty unique and interesting there. So once you pick your team, then you get to draft 3 X Factor players. Now this is where things kind of spice up a little bit, because you have your base team, right? So now you're going to have a random draft of X Factor players. You got all 50 X Factor players who are in the game. They could randomly pop up in the draft. There's also some legends that can pop up in the draft, and even more rare, there's icons, which I believe are like celebrities. Now, once you draft your 3 X Factor players, then you're going to go into your game with your base team plus those players. But here, the kicker with those guys is that their X Factor is active all game long. So, for example, if you got Pat Mahomes, that means he has Bazooka all game long. If you have DeAndre Hopkins, he has Double Meat all game long. If you've got Aaron Donald, he has Fearmonger all game long. So it really makes things crazy. It almost makes it, way more arcade-ish, if anything. Just kind of like anything can happen because you have all these guys in the zone at the same time. Now, here's where it gets even more interesting. The game is very quick. You have 2 drives. You start at your own 25, and the goal is to score a touchdown. There's no special teams. You can't punt. You cannot kick a field goal. You get 4 downs to get that first down. If you don't get that first down, your opponent gets the ball. Now, if you score the touchdown, you must go for 2. Now, at the end of both of those drives, let's say both players are at 0-0, or both players scored and got the 2-point conversion, so both players are at 8-8, or maybe both players scored the touchdown and both missed the 2-point conversion, and they're both 6-6. If you're tied, you go into a tug-of-war overtime. Now, if you played NCAA 14, you're familiar with tug-of-war. Basically, what this is each side gets 3 plays. You start at the 50-yard line, and the plays alternate. Whoever gets closer to the end zone after those 3 plays wins, or if you score, you win the game. So, I might get 20 yards, and then you come back the next play, you might get 30 yards. So now I'm behind 10 yards. So you have to pretty much outgain the other opponent, or you have to score to win the game. Now, if you win, you get to add another X Factor player to your team, and the goal is to win 4 games in a row. So each time you win, you're adding a new X Factor player onto the squad. If you lose, you have to start over, start from scratch, pick a new team, maybe a better team that suits your style more, and then redraft your X Factor players. Now, it gets really crazy because, as I said, the playbooks are what make this actually a challenge. And a lot of people, when they first play this mode, are probably going to be a little frustrated because it's unlike anything else you have played in Madden ever. Because you're used to having your playbook, you're comfortable with it, you're familiar with it, you have your bread and butter plays, your go-to plays when you get into a tight situation. You're not going to have those plays in a lot of these playbooks because they're very limited. Some plays might only have literally 9 plays on offense. and none of them are particularly special. Like if you pick a defensive heavy team, for example, you're going to have a lot of crazy stuff on defense. It's going to be really easy for you to probably stop the other opponent, but when you're on offense, it's going to be a struggle because you're not going to have a lot of different things you can do to mix your plays up. Again, like I said, if you go with the run-heavy type team and maybe you come out your first couple downs and you don't get a good run, you get stuffed, now you're on 3rd and 10, you're not going to have a lot of exotic pass plays to dial up. You might have a generic pass play like curl flats or something like that isn't always going to be the most ideal for picking up a big chunk of yards. So that's where it gets interesting. There's so many different team styles. You have to find the one that fits you. Obviously, there's some teams that are a little bit more balanced than others that give you kind of more balance on both sides of the ball, but they're not going to be dominant in any one area, whereas most of the teams are dominant in one particular area. Now, what else is interesting when you're drafting players is that there are different tiers of players. There's a common player, which means he's an X-Factor player. His X-Factor is always active, right? Then there's a rare version of the same player. You'll know that he's rare because he'll have a blue outline. Now, what rare means is that his X-Factor is always active, but he also has a couple of his superstar abilities, the regular abilities that are usually active all game, and those are the ones that are typically better than the X-Factor abilities for the most part. So when you get a rare player, you get your X-Factor always on, but plus you get a couple of extra passive abilities as well. Now, if you get an ultra rare player, this is the same thing. It could be the same player, but he has a purple outline. This means he's going to have, again, his X-Factor is always active, but he's going to have like more passive abilities. So the rare player might have a couple abilities, whereas the ultra rare guy, he might have 4 passive abilities. So now he's just like super like on steroids. He's got everything. And then you got legendary players, which are the legends, guys like Jerry Rice, Randy Moss, and these guys are just going to have even more things in their disposal. Just crazy stuff you could use. So you need to make sure you're paying attention to that when you're drafting. If you see that blue outline or that purple outline, you want to make sure to take those guys, because you might have the choice between 4 different players, and 3 of those players might just be a common player, but that 4th player might be a rare or an ultra rare player. In that case, you always want to take that guy because he is going to be more powerful than the other guys. So that's going to be probably one of the things that might take a little bit to get used to, because it's kind of a different style than we're used to playing. An Ultimate Team, all the players are the same and you can just customize them as you want. In Draft Champions, you're just drafting the player as he is, but in this mode, you actually have different tiers of players you can draft. So, you know, I'm really curious to see how the meta is going to form for a game mode like this. You know, are people going to pick the defensive ends? Are people going to pick the shutdown corners? There's a lot of different ways you can go about this. Because of the playbooks being limited, you kind of have to find that special spice that you think gives you the best edge to win. Now, you also get XP in this mode when you win. And the XP is really meant to just kind of show who's the best at Superstar KO. So that, like, you know, just think of like in any other game when you're ranking up, right? This is how people are going to know how good you are at the game. You get more XP for winning, obviously, but you get XP for playing the game as well. And you're going to jump up, you know, level 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. And then the higher your number is, when you match up with somebody, you're going to know who's really who when you're playing Superstar KO. Who's really grinding the mode, who's putting that time in, who is really one of the best at the mode. And also, you're going to also get a weekly MUT reward for playing, which that is, you know, just kind of an extra incentive for Ultimate Team players. You don't need to put any microtransactions into this game. You don't need any coins. You don't need any money to play. The game mode doesn't like lead you into Ultimate Team or anything like that. But if you are an Ultimate Team player, you will get a weekly MUT reward, you know, if you play this mode. So it's just a little added incentive for those guys. You know, if you want some extra MUT rewards for your team, you can get that by playing this mode. So I'm very excited about it. It is in beta right now for the first season. What they're doing is they want to keep doing more play testing on it. They want to get a lot of feedback on it, and what they want to do is evolve this mode throughout the year. They want these teams that are in the game, these base teams, they want them to be real teams with real stories. And if you go read on the blog, it tells you a little bit about the team, and they're kind of treating them like they're real life teams, like it's almost a separate league from the NFL that you can experience within Madden. And throughout the year, you know, these teams could change, their base teams could change, you know, players could get traded, for example, you know, however EA wants to do it. You know, they might, you know, change out a quarterback on a team. They might bring new legends into the game and put a legend onto a team. They might change coaches because, you know, let's say they kind of monitor how people are playing the game and they see like who people are playing with the most, who are winning the most, and things like that. They might adjust that like a real life team and say, well, this, you know, people that play with this team, their winning percentage is really low, so, you know, let's change out the coach like you would in real life if a team wasn't winning. You know, they're going to change the rules for this a lot, I would bet, because they want to treat this kind of like how they treat house rules in Ultimate Team. constantly changing up the rules maybe each season, changing the way you play it, and just making it a living, breathing thing and something that constantly is just something fun to play. Pick up and play, because every game mode in Madden takes like 30-40 minutes to complete a game. This, you know, is a minute to 10 minutes long. You can get in, get out there, really quick matchups, and I think that's something that Madden has needed, so I'm really glad to see this come to the game. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you want to know anything else about Superstar KO, I'll have the blog linked below, and you can ask me questions in the comment as well, and I'll be glad to answer them for you. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.